Hello, and welcome to this edition of Hands Up. I'm Michael Freeman. We're here for today's story. The story is called Peter and the Wolf. The original story was written to music by a Russian composer called Sergei Prokofiev. Behind me, you can see lots of different musical instruments. A flute, drums, and others. We've got them because in the book, all the animals and people have their own musical instrument which is linked to their character. For example, the bird, who playfully flies around, is portrayed by a flute which sounds like a bird flying.
In the great forest there was a beautiful meadow with a pond in it. Behind a fence there was a house. The tabby cat was at home everywhere in the garden, the meadow and the forest. One morning, Peter woke up. He went out into the garden and looked around. Where was his friend, the little bird? Peter gave a whistle. Another whistle answered him from the top of a tall tree, and the little bird came flying down. He perched on Peter's hand, then flew away across the meadow. "Catch me if you can," called the bird. "Catch me if you can." "Just you wait," cried Peter. "I really will catch you one day."
Wondering what was going on, the duck put her head round the open gate and looked at the pond. "I think I'd like a nice bath," she said to herself, and waddled off. "What a funny bird you are, dear duck," the little bird mocked. "You don't fly." The duck took no notice. She just stretched her neck and quacked. "What a funny bird you are! You don't swim."
Grandfather came into the garden. When he saw the open gate, he was angry. "Peter, you know the wolf lives in the forest," he said, "and you know how dangerous the wolf is. You mustn't leave the garden gate open." "But I've never seen the wolf, Grandfather," Peter said. "Anyway, I'm not afraid of him." "Then you ought to be," said Grandfather. "Now come along and have your breakfast." He took Peter by the arm and led him home, carefully closing the gate behind him.
No sooner had Peter and Grandfather disappeared into the house when the wolf came out of the forest. He had not eaten for a long time, and he was hungry. He saw the bird, the cat, and the duck, and raced towards them. The bird flew high up into the tree, and the cat climbed its trunk. In terror, the duck tried to save herself by flying up into the tree, but the wolf caught her and swallowed her in one gulp. Peter, standing at the window, had seen it all. He raced outside, stopping only to pick up a rope lying in the wheelbarrow. He could see the wolf jumping up at the tree, his claws outstretched to try and catch the cat. "Little bird, you must lure the wolf away," whispered Peter, "but be careful he doesn't catch you." The bird left the branch and flew in circles around the wolf's head. Peter tied a loop at the end of the rope to make a lasso. Peter threw his lasso over the wolf's head. The wolf struggled to get free, but he was tied to the tree. He couldn't move. "Caught you!" shouted Peter in delight. He jumped up and down and danced round the wolf. "Caught him! Caught him!" twittered the bird. The cat mewed. "Caught him!" jumping up and down.
Three hunters came and saw the wolf. "No," said Peter, "you mustn't shoot." "Move aside, we are going to fire," said a hunter, aiming his gun.
Bang! The gun fired a shot. In all the confusion, it went up in the air. The noise brought Grandfather out of the house. "You can't shoot a captured animal," said Grandfather indignantly, taking away the rifles from the hunters. "Then what do we do with him?" asked a hunter.
"I know, Grandfather. Let's take him to the zoo," suggested Peter. "That's a good idea," said Grandfather. "But how?" Peter went into the garden and came back with a wheelbarrow. Working together, they soon had the wolf securely tied up, and they all set off to the zoo together.
was an exciting story. In the end, the bad wolf was caught. When you read that story, two words keep coming up. They're catch, C-A-T-C-H, and caught, C-A-U-G-H-T. What's the difference between the two words? Catch is the present tense. That means I'll catch you now. Caught is the past tense. It means I've already caught you. I'll show you. Here's Simon, our wolf. I will catch you, C-A-T-C-H. I've caught you, C-A-U-G-H-T. I've caught you. Now, you read the text on your own. Firstly, looking for the present tense, catch. See how many times you find that word in the story. When you've done that, read the story again, this time looking for the past tense, caught. When you've made your lists, think about your own sentences. Write some sentences using catch and using caught to show the present and the past tense of the verb, to catch.
In next week's Hands Up, a story all about a hippo in the rice fields. That's at the same time, 11:35, same place, BBC Two.